In the mid-80s, a guy from Compton, California named Andre Young would begin DJing at a club under the DJ name Dr. J, which was paying homage to his favorite basketball player, Julius Erving. At the club, Young would meet an aspiring rapper we would later know as DJ Yella. Soon, he would adopt the name Dr. Dre as a mix of Dr. J and his own first name. Dre would join the world-class Wrecking Crew, which was an electro-hip-hop group in the Los Angeles area. In 1985, they dropped their debut album World Class on August 4th. They followed up with their second album, Wrapped in Romance, the next year in 1986. This would be the group's final album, and after this, Dr. Dre and DJ Yella left the group. Dre and Yella would eventually meet rapper Ice Cube and Eazy-E, where they would form the legendary group known as NWA. In 1992, Dre left NWA to pursue a solo career. On December 15th, 1992, Dre dropped his debut album, The Chronic. This album would become an instant classic, and at this point in Dr. Dre's young career, he was already solidified as one of the best artists and producers in the game. During this time, another producer by the name of Jermaine Dupri was getting his career as a producer started. In 1990, Dupri produced his first act, which was a female hip-hop trio named Silk Times Leather. In 1991, Dupri later formed the teen rap duo Criss Cross after meeting them at a local mall, and in 1992, the group's debut album Totally Crossed Out was released. This album would go on to go multi-platinum, featuring hits like Jump and Warm It Up, which were both produced by Jermaine Dupri. Dupri's career was off to a very promising start, and in 1993 he formed his own label, So So Def. Throughout the 90s, Dupri would produce multi-platinum records and work with artists like Mariah Carey, Lil' Kim, and he even produced several tracks for a young Usher. On November 16th, 1999, Dr. Dre dropped his second album, 2001, which was a massively successful album, selling 516,000 copies first week, and featured smash hits like The Next Episode and one of the greatest, most known rap songs of all time, Still Dre. This beef would officially begin in 2002, but how exactly did this beef start? In the November 2001 issue of XXL, Jermaine Dupri did an interview, and in this interview he would say that nobody can do what he does as far as producing. During this, he would name drop Timbaland and Dr. Dre when he said, in quotes, "That's my mentality music-wise. Whether it be Puff or anybody that people want to call my competition, I will take them out, hands down. Ain't nobody in the industry that could do what I do. Not Dre, not Timbaland, not nobody." Dr. Dre and Timbaland saw these remarks and got pissed. So in April 2002, they actually both told MTV that they contemplated dropping a diss track at Jermaine Dupri titled Papa Smurf, saying, "Well, it was a few negative things that Jermaine Dupri said about us in the XXL magazine, so we were going to make a song dedicated to him. He said me or Timbaland can't do what he does. I thought that was kind of crazy. That was cocky. He was just at my studio maybe 2 or 3 weeks before that asking me to do a song with him, so I found that really funny." During this time, Eminem was rolling out his next album called The Eminem Show, so he began dropping singles. Later that month, on April 29th, 2002, Eminem's song Without Me was released to radio. On the B-side of the single was a track called Say What You Say, which was not only produced by Dr. Dre, but it featured Dr. Dre as well. On this track, Dr. Dre would officially take to wax to diss Jermaine Dupri. On the first verse, Eminem asked about Jermaine Dupri and the comment he made back in November 2001 on his XXL interview. Dre says that Jermaine doesn't belong speaking his or Timbaland's name.
But what about Jermaine? Fuck Jermaine, he don't belong speaking mine or Timbaland's name.
Dre then says that he's been seeing what Jermaine has been saying about him in his interviews.
And don't think I don't read your little interviews and see what you're saying.
Dre then mocks Jermaine Dupri for his height of 5'4", saying that he's gonna step on him and not even know it, and goes on to call him Mini-Me, which is a reference to the character Mini-Me from the Austin Powers franchise, basically saying that Jermaine Dupri is a smaller wannabe Dr. Dre.
When I see you, I'ma step on you and not even know it, you midget. Mini-me with a bunch of little mini-yous.
Dre then closes out the verse, saying that he sold 80 million records without 10 or 11-year-olds, referencing how Jermaine Dupri worked with child stars in the past.
Over 80 million records sold, and I ain't have to do it with 10 or 11-year-olds.
At the end of the track, there's an audio of a phone call with Timbaland with a message for Jermaine Dupri.
"Yo, this Timbaland. Tell him I said suck my dick."
About a week later, in early May of 2002, Jermaine Dupri would respond with his own diss track where Jermaine goes at Dr. Dre and throws shots at Eminem as well.
You little gay ass All you can say about me is that I'm short, but my dough is long. Dr. Dre, come on.
Eminem caught wind of this, so that month, Eminem hosted the DJ K-Slay mixtape, Say What You Say. And on this mixtape was a freestyle with Eminem and Exhibit. At the end of the verse, Eminem has some words for Jermaine Dupri as he introduces Exhibit to the track.
Exhibit Blaze, little gay midget.
After that, Exhibit just completely destroys Jermaine Dupri on his verse.
Hey Jermaine, who's you gonna ride today? Couldn't wait to get the green light from Dr. Dre. Never liked your ass any goddamn way.
Jermaine Dupri wouldn't respond, and later that month, on May 26, 2002, Eminem dropped his album, The Eminem Show, to which the track Say What You Say appeared on the album, and the Jermaine Dupri disses were of course kept on this album. This beef would go quiet, but in late 2003, a bootleg compilation album of leaked, unreleased Eminem songs called Straight From The Lab would make its way to the public. On this is a track called Cannabitch, which was primarily a diss aimed at cannabis during Eminem and Cannabis's feud. On this track, Eminem decided to throw some jabs at Jermaine Dupri when he fictionally runs over Jermaine Dupri with a car and goes back to stomp him with Dr. Dre.
So we're off to Toronto when we're gaining speed. What was that? Jermaine Dupri. Fuck it. Keep going, no time to waste. Wait, back up. Hit him one more time in case. Okay, fuck, now he's dragging under the car. Oh well, only 30 more thousand miles. Suddenly the stub of a dead man's arm from a midget reaches out from under the car. It's JD. This motherfucker won't die neither. Dre starts spraying him with cans of ether. We stomp the bitch and then stomp the bitch again. Confident. Detroit, talk some shit again. Stomp him, switch feet, stomp him, switch again. Dre, alright, he's dead, dog. We're kicking him.
Jermaine Dupri didn't respond, and eventually Dr. Dre and Jermaine Dupri would make amends. Fast forward to 2013, Jermaine Dupri did an interview where he would recall his past beef with Dr. Dre, saying that back then he was cocky, but he still, to this day, believes that he was telling the truth.
At a younger JD, I was super cocky. You know, I would tell people, you know, things like, if you put me, Dre, and Timbaland in the same studio at the same time, I'll come out with a song first. And I still believe that to this day, by the way, but you know, I just was, you know, I was popping off and they was being egotistical as well. And it was just ego. It's just, you know, a thing like that. But as you know, as time got older, you know, people say I'm the best at what I do. And I feel like Dr. Dre is the best producer in hip hop ever. You know what I mean? And I told him that. And it really made me mad I really was mad when they was trying to beef with me. Because I'm like, here's some people I really like. And y'all want to say something about me, I'm going to find the most dirtiest thing I could possibly say about you. Because I like you guys. So you really going to make me mad. But it was just, you know, I just think it's just nature. Nature of two people headed in a successful direction. And you always got that competition thing going on.
Fast forward again to October 2018, Jermaine Dupri sat down with DJ Vlad for an interview where he would once again recall his beef with Dr. Dre.
It was a conversation about if you put 3 producers in a room, who's going to come out with a song first? And I said me. And, you know, at the time that I said it, people didn't digest it the way they supposed to. They probably still won't. They probably gonna watch this and be like, oh, you don't know what he's talking about. You know, I'll say that to 3 other producers now. If you put me in a room and put 2 other producers in a separate room, I don't need no writers. I ain't got to call nobody over there. I don't need a whole bunch of people. I'm going to do the whole shit by myself right there in the room. That's what I was saying at that particular point in time.
Okay.
And people didn't like it. And that was the biggest part of it. I never actually said, oh, you were whack and this, that, and that. I feel like Dr. Dre is the best, greatest producer in hip hop. I told him that afterwards. Me and him been, you know, we cool, and I let him know that.
Right, 'cause you guys became friends afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, we was friends before this. It was just like I said, people be competitive and they hear things and they want to take at it. I'm glad. By the way, I'm glad that Eminem dissed me and said what he said in that song, because now my point, what he did to me, is let everybody know how far ahead of the game I was when he said it, because everybody that raps now is under 21 years old.
Pretty much. I mean,
that should let you know how far ahead of the game I was. Because I got this for working with artists that was under 21. Now look at hip hop.
On November 16th, 2023, Jermaine Dupri and Dr. Dre linked up in the studio with photos and a video surfacing of the two hanging out. In February 2024, Jermaine Dupri was seen with Dr. Dre, Big Boy, and Snoop Dogg. It's clear that this beef has been squashed, but from the recent interviews, it seems as if the competitiveness of Jermaine Dupri hasn't left. In my eyes, Dr. Dre is the greatest producer of all time. Would you like to see these two come together on a track?